people? It's your boy, KJ Slow Jammin' James, and you're tuning in to another Kicking It with KJ production coming live from KJ Studios. So sit back, relax, open your mind, and whether you like it, love it, or hate it, when you kick it with KJ, you get 100% authenticity. So let's go. Okay, let's do this for a second time, but nobody would know out there.
Round two.
I forgot to hit record on the first.
That's okay, because the intro is lovely. I lost myself there from when I was just jamming in my head.
I lost myself in the first one, so that's it. Let's get into it.
Let's hopefully find out where we're going next.
So there's some history behind that, right? So you have like the spotlight, the ambience in here, like when you try to find who your personality is, the very first time we did it, I just don't know if it's me to be like that. Oh yeah, welcome. It's right. I don't know if that suits my personality, and I don't want to be too negative, but there is actually a DJ. I don't know if you remember him back in the day when I was in middle school. They used to call me DJ Slow Jammin' James, and he is the pioneer of the late night
slow jams, smooth talking,
right? And so when I was trying to find a niche, I was like, KJ Slow Jammin' James instead of DJ KJ Slow Jammin' James.
I could just see you at 13, like, what are the ladies gonna like?
It wasn't me.
How do I make the ladies like me? Like, dude, you're 13. You're lucky they talk to you.
Yeah,
they only talk to you because they're in your class.
Gosh,
like,
did anybody even talk to me when I was 13? But I don't know. But everybody, welcome. Another Kicking It with KJ Studios. Coach B.
What up?
What up? Special guest. So I'm not going to introduce you, but you are a fantastic dude. Always been supportive. But I'll let you introduce yourself, and then hopefully if you want to say what you said the first round when I didn't record, you can. If not, it was meant to be for us to discuss something else.
I mean, everything changes a little bit, but my name is Andrew Dionne, so a lot of people already probably know me who are going to watch this, but whoever doesn't know me, it doesn't really matter what my name is. It matters what I can do to help people out, and usually that's just inspire them to do the thing for themselves that needs to get them to the next level or the next outcome that they're looking for. So I focus on, real estate investments and the life goals that they have and how those things relate to them. So for us, how we met was you were buying a house, but it was a little bit more convoluted than just you wanted to buy a house.
It was. So it's like how, me and Barry met in 1999 in Saudi Arabia.
Dang. I was like graduating from high school. Don't worry. It's okay.
Were you really?
Yeah. 2000 is when I graduated.
Am I older than you?
Apparently.
39. How old are you?
Almost 46.
Yeah. You're older than me.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Holy shit. Now
I
feel stupid.
I just have tons of gray hair and have not taken care of myself and used to run through the sun in the middle of the day.
This is living proof.
I look old.
When you make good decisions. You're way
good life decision. Not that guy.
Well, so CC,
I'm not gonna be like him.
Yeah.
That's so my manpower troop, CC, right?
Yeah.
Found out that I was moving to Vegas, and because leaders maintain good relationships.
Always.
She's like, hey, if you're going to buy a house, you should consider
this guy
talking to my friend. And then here's this tall glass of water, like red hair. Your picture, on your business card.
Oh, looked way younger.
It's
that's why I don't have cards anymore.
Day. Right. It's night and day.
It's like I use my phone, I update my virtual contact, and people get that and they're like, oh, that looks like you. All these pictures I had before look nothing like me. And when people see me dressed up in a suit, they're like, huh. And people that didn't see me with a beard, they're like, they have that pause. If I put a hat on and I walk by somebody that hasn't seen me with a hat on, they're like,
guy looks familiar.
Yeah. See, and you two,
I think I seen his business card in a urinal or something.
See, and you two are awesome because you can grow that nice stuff. Like my shit is just patchy and terrible. And you see, I have a bad attempt at trying to grow it. And hear it
every day. I wonder how I'm gonna get away with not shaving. I'm always like, how do I just not shave? Because I still shave, the neck and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, remember that troop that you had? It was like, I don't want to shave, so I'm gonna get a waiver. Now I don't have to do that, right? Yeah. But now I'm thinking if I don't look presentable, people are gonna want to talk to me. It's not gonna trim the beard.
When you have a beard, how do you tell when somebody really gives a shit about themselves? They'll trim their neck hairs.
Yeah.
You know,
really?
they'll keep the beard, but they'll trim their neck hair. So
You
they
gotta
won't
comb
have
it, too.
Neck beard.
Well, I have a true
comb that beard. You got to like take care. It's a job.
It's work, right? So I have a true confession. When I was trimming it yesterday, I was like, gosh, I need to ask someone who knows how to do this because I've never done it. I waited 28 years to get braids and they were out in 22 hours because it hurt so bad. And then I shaved my hair off and they're like, dude, what happened? So, Andrew, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for those who don't know, right?
We're out.
Yeah,
See you
that's
later.
it. That's it. We're out.
Intro, outro.
Yeah.
Well, so those that don't know, Leadership
simple.
Leadership Las Vegas was an awesome thing for me. So this is the guy who got me to go,
Okay.
who convinced me that I should participate. And I think it took 2 tries, two cycles, 2 years, I think.
Yeah,
almost,
you didn't
right?
know if you're going to stay.
Right.
The same thing happened with me. Like the first time I went, they're like, we want you. And I was like, I'm leaving. And they go, no, we don't want you.
Yeah, you don't understand that who we are. We want you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to stay here. Once
Yeah.
you come through our program, you have to stay here. You belong to us now. I was
It's
like,
like a
this
cult.
is weird.
Until I see people moving.
Yeah, everybody moves. They're all over the place. Funny story about that is like, I have 3 people in my class from leadership that I was close to that all moved away. And the ones that I wasn't like super close to, still all here. Huh. Okay, this is how it's gonna work. So then you start making those other relationships.
Yeah.
You know, you find those people that you're close to, you stay close to them. It kind of just happens, you know? And then after they move, you're like, they're not coming back.
And I'm not going to Saskatchewan, so
Yeah.
No. I told Barry he should consider next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I would say the benefit to the individual is the growth from it. But it's something that people are like, oh, I really want to get in. You're not the person they want. If you're like really dead set that you want to get in, you're probably not going to have much to offer because you're all about like, I want to get in for what it's going to do for me.
Versus others.
Right. And the goal is to get people in that are giving to other people and then have their giving nature, or the thing that they have to offer everyone, compound the good that other people are currently giving. Right. That's how leadership really works.
Yeah, I think the birth of London and COVID just made my stocks plummet like everything this week because I was you probably saw I was very involved doing. And then London, COVID, just like, you know, and I'm like, well, I think they're good reasons. If this is what came out of it, then I guess it was meant to be. Hopefully I'm doing good. But it's an amazing program.
Well, it's like everything else, you know, you intend to do certain things going into it.
Right.
And it's first contact with the enemy. You never know what's going to happen. Your plan is to like charge right in and do all these things. I'm going to kick down the door and this is how it's going to go. And then it doesn't go that way because everything that you didn't know suddenly happens.
Yeah.
Having a baby, having the world get flipped upside down by a pandemic, whatever. All that stuff like hits you and then you go, okay, got to figure this out.
All right, so a little bit about you. I see you got a ring on your finger, married,
Oh, yeah.
kids. Where are you from?
Yeah, we have a couple of kids. We have an older son who's 10, plays hockey, dreams
I love
me.
it. I love it when people say we have an older kid that's 10.
Yeah.
My son's 29.
Are you kidding me right now?
That's Kingston.
At 10, right, Kingston has a cell phone. He has like a PlayStation, an Xbox, a TV in his room. Like, he has everything an adult me wanted going in the Air Force I didn't have as a kid.
Oh, of course.
He is the
More
older
than some
guy.
airmen in the dorms.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And we also have a baby. He's a year and 4 months right now. So
Do you remember his name?
His name's Kane.
Kane. Very cool.
Kane.
Kane.
With a K.
K.
Yep.
Okay.
But I have people in my life that have never met him.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, how come we've never met your baby? And I go, well, he's premature. We spent like 2 months in the hospital with him,
see,
drained
that's a
us
story
of
itself.
everything.
Right. So
Yeah.
Kane's came out. I don't want to say the box. he came
came
out
out
swinging
kicking.
and kicking.
Yeah.
The
Right.
box.
He's a fighter.
Out of the box.
He was like 3 pounds, 11 ounces, and full on baby scream. Like the whole NICU team rushes in and they're there. Right?
Oh, like he's fine.
Yeah.
He's just a little small.
The doctor's like,
He's going to be just fine.
literally looked at the baby,
Yeah.
looked at me. He's like, oh yeah, he's going to be a huge kid.
Yeah.
You're lucky you had him early. Telling my wife that she's lucky he came early because he's going to be so big.
Ginormous.
He's handsome. I saw the family
Giant.
portraits.
Giant.
Thank you. We just did portraits out of Gilcrease Orchard.
See, right now I'm just picturing you in a diaper,
Oh,
beard, and a binky. That's
it is exactly
I
how
have
it's
not seen
going.
photos, so
He smokes too. He's already a
smokes.
smoker. He drinks whiskey. I mean, he is full on Irish.
well, then why didn't we invite him on?
He could have came. This is a family-friendly show.
I
Could have
love
brought
it.
London and Kane together.
I love it. There you go.
You know?
And if like we don't have to beep out the bad words, like, so that's
There's going to be lots
Then
of
we
bad
can talk
words.
shit about everybody.
Lots of bad words happen.
Well, you talked about, he brought up family.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I brought up family.
Well, that's what I mean. You.
Okay, me. That's
You
me.
brought up family,
Right.
but we all are retirees. And one thing, so I want to talk about one thing that I know I've spoke to you about.
Anything in my life, I graduate.
Okay.
Let's move on.
So yes, I said that at first, and then I don't know what the time, the transition time frame is from. So I'm day 30. I'm day 30 retired today, right? But I think there's got to be this. What's the word I'm looking for? Is where you have to get out all the crap. Unfortunately, technology in
It's
this
called a purge.
right? So I'm purging my system,
Oh, yeah.
right? So there's probably lots of cheese that should have been sent my way, right? Because I did a lot of what some people say whining. I call it purging. But one of the mistakes that I felt like I made in the military, and I think, you're associated with this perspective, right?
Oh, I thought he did it. I was like,
I probably did.
No, what I'm
guilty
talking
right
about is
there.
making bad financial decisions when we're younger.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that when I met you, right, I am allowed to talk about this because it was on a podcast. That was the first thing you sent me one morning.
Yeah.
And is investing your money wisely, which is why you're trying to get me out of buying a cabin and buying cars. Trust me, there's a lot I know about. I run everything by him, knowing he's going to say, "What are you, an idiot?" in so many nice ways.
I stopped saying it.
Kevin, with all due
Like, I
respect,
just-
are you an idiot?
So one of the things that frustrated me as a chief was I was like, there's so many good things we could teach our young airmen to do with their housing allowance
that they don't do.
that they don't do. And even they won't even let you. We do financial literacy on base and things like that. And it's amazing that we'll tell an airman like, yeah, save your money. I remember the AFN commercials, pay yourself first, right? And I'm like, okay, they're going to pay you less than what is it? Was it on average like less than 1% of interest, right? But there's other ways to invest your money while helping do some positive, right? And that's one of the things that you introduced me to.
Right.
And I have not done well. Trust me, we did a long debate on investing in the stock market versus what we were doing. And I did both. And I can tell you, I have not been transparent with what my investment in the stock market looks like currently. After elections, I may. Maybe.
They created an emoji for that.
It's
little
called
turd.
this. Or a turd, too.
Yeah, the hand on the face, like face palm, straight away.
But it's something we definitely could have used as young airmen. So do you want to talk about
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it, but it's not necessarily the fun, sexy thing people like to hear about.
making money is not until
But it matters. It absolutely matters. But like the thing that I always look at with especially the younger kids is, how do you get that car? How do you go on those dates? Like you want to take a jet and you want to go somewhere on a jet and be like, I Jet Suite X, got a private jet for me and my friends. That's Instagram, bro. Like that's just not real life. People
Right.
make that up thinking they're going to make money. And if there's nobody bankrolling it, you're basically just pitching all your money in the garbage because it's a one-time experience, So with BAH, it makes absolutely no sense to not buy a house long-term in the military. But most people are like, oh, I'm not going to be here that long. It's so hard to deal with. It's this big asset and I got to deal with it. Well, it's an asset and a liability, but the liability is paid for by someone else. So if you pick up a house everywhere you go or pick up a house a couple times in, one duty station and you let that house go to other people for a rental property, now they're paying for it. Plus you still have your BAH. You could either pay it down or you could rent out individual rooms. Like there's all kinds of ways to make money.
Right.
So that's what I started doing in the beginning. It was like, I'm going to buy this house. We're going to rent it. It's going to look like it's not mine. So we don't get into any conflicts here. And we're going to have a contract between everybody who is in ownership and everybody who is on the rental side. So we would buy houses. And then when we bought the house, everybody that was in for the purchase was on the contract of the LLC that owned the house. And then individual rooms, like I'd live in one room and we'd rent out the other rooms. And at first I always lived in the master. I was like, oh, the owner suite's for me. Like I want that one. And then I realized I could charge more for it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm a single guy. I'm never here. Like I don't even have a dog.
I can walk to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I've walked to bathrooms and flip
Well,
flops and
most of
towels.
that time I stumbled to the bathroom because there was many years that were just no sobriety was even part of the conversation. It wasn't like you need to sober up to go to work today. It was like we
got to go to work.
Yeah. Grab some beers. We're going to work.
We're going to work today.
The birth of my kids is what changed that for me, because I always wanted to be able to respond or drive, or I never wanted to be the guy like there's an emergency and I'm like, oh. And that was before Lyft and Uber. But
I will tell you, like looking back, there are many DUIs I should have had that I 100% deserved, that for some reason we didn't get them, for whatever that is. Not advocating.
We are not condoning
not
drinking and driving.
For drinking and driving
people.
at all. But definitely speaking
Uber
from
and
experience, it is bad. It is like the worst thing that you could do.
So what Andrew was trying to say is, if there was Uber and Lyft back then when he was getting shit faced, he would have called Uber.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We did call Uber though, but it was Airman so and so.
Yeah,
right?
Airman drive. What is it? Airman's against drunk driving, right?
And also back then there wasn't the culture of, I don't want to call it tattletaling, but like there's many times I went to the gate back in the early 90s and they made sure I got to my room safe.
The same thing that happened with like the bro code, the culture, the good old boy culture. There is a negative and there is a positive to it, right? Like it's taking care of each other, but at the same time, you can't take care of each other in a way that hurts other people. Yeah. If you're just making sure somebody doesn't hurt themselves, then your positive out of that is a net positive for everybody. They're not killing someone when they're driving. Plus, you're making sure that they go home. And then afterwards, you usually get yelled at, And if you are a problem child, you go to ADAPT. So, they make you sober up. It's not like you're at a point where it's so egregious that you're always intoxicated. But the culture of the military that I grew up in was definitely like buy a car, go out partying, get some rims. Like the Rent-A-Rim place is at every single base you ever go to.
Of course.
You drive right off base, there's a used car dealership, and right after the car dealership,
Rent-A-Rim.
And right after that, strip joint.
Yeah.
Well, when we came in, everybody didn't have a car.
So you went to the strip joint while they were putting your rims on your car.
And
then someone stole them.
Right.
Rent-A-Rim stole them.
Then you went and floated a check at the AFES.
And you were broke. When it was all said and done, you were broke. And you're like,
you were floating checks from paycheck
first and
to
the
paycheck.
15th. First and the 15th. That's how like the Air Force Sergeants Association became a necessary thing. You can get your assistance loans. You can go to your first sergeant and be like, hey, I need to get some money. And they go, okay, well, we're going to give you enough money to get through, but we have to have a counseling session with you.
Well, now
and they never really taught you how to.
Right. The counseling session was don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it again.
Yeah.
Well, the important stuff's never taught, even with all our kids in school right now. And like, I've been talking about like that show on Netflix, Social Dilemma, and how it's impacting generations based on Facebook likes, Instagram likes. And I'm like, why is that not a class for parents need it too, adults need it too. Like we could also get onto one of the posts I want to make today about, why we have to prepare ourselves for civil unrest based on election results, which just blows my mind. I'm like
it's ridiculous.
Is that the world we live in today? Is like, regardless who's elected, like, and I won't tell you who I think the civil unrest would come from, which side.
That's why I voted for Kanye. Makes perfect sense.
Yes,
he says nothing that makes sense.
And he's not left or right; he's west.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you had Kanye. I had Kim Kardashian.
Oh well.
They're one and the same, aren't they?
I stopped writing myself in, because I know I'm not going to win.
I voted for my bulldog.
That's the way to do it.
Fredo for president.
It just blows my mind. Like we have to prepare for that. It just tells me that we live in a world of temper tantrums. And then I see how some of it was embarrassing because for me, I even see somehow the other leaders. There was some Leadership Las Vegas people like the temper tantrums that I see.
I've unfriended people that I was friends with from Leadership Las Vegas because I make a statement or I ask a question and then they just go down their rabbit hole all by themselves and attack every single statement that was made by anyone else that they don't agree with and they see it only from their perception.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm the smartest person in the room. Well, your circular logic teaches you that you are the smartest person in the room that you built, that you're walking in a circle inside your own head. Because that's where you're at.
Well, that's why I created my group page.
Leaderish.
Oh, that's you? That's yours?
Well, yeah, I sent you the invite.
Yeah, you did, and I didn't accept it. Yeah. Maybe I should. So can you resend me that link?
No.
I'll go.
So
I was like, what is this leader? What is this leadership?
Listen, Barry,
leaderish.
We only ask once. We knock once.
My
if
bad.
you don't answer,
that's it.
I thought it was something that you just shared from somebody else. I didn't know you created that.
So I created leaderish.
Hold on.
because that's the way when I was, so I found myself being frustrated with a lot of stuff. When you create a brand or a business, you really do start seeing, like,
I told you, like,
you did.
And I don't ever say it like, people take it as like this offensive thing, and I'm like, this is gonna happen, and they're like, oh, you're just down in my idea. No, I'm a realist.
No, hey, you're here, and we still tight, right? And I realized
just the reality.
Yeah, and I found myself being so negative, and I don't want to. That's not me. I can be, and I enjoy it. I can thrive in negativity and conflict too. I think a lot of us in the military have no issues with that. But when I was talking about leadership, and then I started seeing what I see, going back to the political stuff, or you see people out there who they support, they don't. The data's in front of you, right? Yeah. I mean, Facebook literally tells you which one of your friends, right? Like which one of your friends, right?
Well,
Yeah. And
all right, so I'm on leader-ish.
He accepted
leader.
It, right? So
it's almost tragic. I had to think to myself, like, do I ask what kind of video he's looking at right away?
You don't get it, but you don't get it because it's like we'll share so much stuff on, hey, join this or join that or join this, and I'm looking at it like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. You're on there now, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Your friends.
We talked about that though.
Hey, you can share with me that I need to work out, but I'm telling you right now, I don't have the room in my life.
He just caught that.
Talked about
it's
that
on film.
I know we just talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It was like we talk about that.
Hold on.
There you go, perfect timing.
So
brutal.
So I saw that and I was like, and I was always in the military. So he's definitely a board of directors for me. Like I go to him for perspective, and usually to be told no.
Right.
Honestly, it's usually told no, but
that's the most important word you hear from people that care about
exactly.
you. Whether or not they like.
I had a conversation with one of my clients this morning about that. Well, actually, it was Ty yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, listen, those are the people that are your true friends.
Yeah.
Those are the people that you're going to tell them no, or you say, hey, you know what? That color just doesn't look good on you.
Right. You do training, right? You do nutrition, lifting, like so I used to be a personal trainer. I used to be all about CrossFit. Like all these things happen.
You lost me at CrossFit, but anyway.
CrossFit.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's where John
there's
Gilbert.
some plenty of good CrossFit people out there as well. So, but
there's some trash ones out there.
There are a lot.
Anybody could get certified, and I was like, all right, like, I'm just gonna do this for the fun of it with the guys that I like, and I'm getting out of like these boxes, they're gyms, because it was just drama factories. But the thing that I got out of being around other people that work out is the constant motivation to do better. And then there was no bullshit like, oh yeah, you did awesome. No, dude, your form sucked. Do it again. Yeah. It wasn't, there's no like, hey, you did it, like good enough, you did it. It was like the strict accountability, right? And then, when you were around when this happened 4 years ago, I was running, I was training for a triathlon, I get hit by a truck, and that's why I stopped working out. Like, I've just been in so much pain since.
You're one of the largest people I've ever seen in my life, and a truck hit him.
Is the truck okay?
Yeah. And the Dodge Ram that hit me was totaled.
Yeah,
and
see?
I walked away. Like,
so all of those of you people that are Dodge fans.
Yeah. Don't.
So you see what I'm saying? So I honestly struggle that there's true leadership anymore. I think everything is leader-ish because leadership has been so diluted to where now at best
it's okay.
You rarely see an original thought. Usually what I see at best is a quote from Maxwell, a quote from Sinek, from someone who just like, and
it's because they think that it's easier to just pull that because it's known, right?
Yeah. Instead of creating your own
not only do you create it, you have to live by it once you put it out to the world. Like, this is the way I see things. If you don't follow it up with your actions, everybody's like, you're garbage.
Right.
Because you are.
Well, and
not because you are.
No one has to see your actions anymore today.
Right.
Because you can just make a post on social media, and it was funny. Like, so I talked about this on the last podcast I did, and it wasn't a debate. I just didn't subscribe to the perspective. Mm-hmm. And what I saw a lot was, and because we can speak Air Force, was the guys in the trenches, the leaders in the trenches, taking the slaps in the face every day, right? you have the most conflict or contentious conversations with people who don't necessarily want to buy into your perspective, regardless of stripes or experience. And you can say something and it's questioned from every angle. But if you sit at a higher level of an organization where I'm like, you don't even have no airmen. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you say the exact same thing. It's like Moses parted the Red Sea and the Messiah has been reborn. And I was like, you didn't say no shit that anybody else hasn't already been saying. But because I think today leadership is more about popularity versus telling the hard truths, the no's. No, it's not like that. No, you know what? You're not ready.
The level of out of touchness.
That's what we talked about earlier too, is like the difference between someone who's a politician and someone who's not.
Right.
We've been so used to being massaged and, well, it's going to be unicorns and popcorn and candy and all this other good stuff. But when somebody comes along and says, hey, you know what? That's crap. IG you can't say that.
Well, that's what they
you
just
can't say that's crap. No, it's literally crap.
That's because everybody's trying to be in bed with everybody now. You're not just in your relationship and that's good enough. It's like, no, everyone has to like me.
Yeah.
Like into the intimate level of like, I want to be with you all the time. I don't want to be with most people ever. Even myself. I look in the mirror and be disgusted. Like,
you know how long it took me to get Andrew here after he sold me this house?
Yeah.
Was it years?
Yeah. I was just gone to the next thing, busy, and I was like, what do you need? All right, let me get you a person. Let me get you what you need.
Did you sign that? Did you sign that contract, Kev? Yeah. All right, good.
Well, he showed up to the door. My parents were like, who are you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to bring
mom's
stuff.
like, oh, he's such a nice guy.
How many people,
come by more.
Think about how many people I connected you with that you needed for things. And I love doing this. People are always like, how do you do this and why would you do it? I set meetings and don't go. And other people freak out. I've done this to you a couple times. I'm like, all right, we're going to meet at this point in time. We're going to be all here. We're going to all get together. We're going to have a meeting, right? We're going to meet each other. And then I just don't go.
Like, I'm not going to be able to make
It's like a blind date.
Yeah.
He's never done that to me. If you don't believe me, go on my social media. It's always Starbucks.
Yeah.
Where we met to buy the house.
Yep.
And then last time off of...
they're everywhere. Off of Aliante Parkway.
Aliante Parkway, right? So
they're everywhere. You can always be like, there's a Starbucks, let's go there. That's the only reason it works. Because it's convenient and they always have Wi-Fi. I mean, that's the genius thing about Starbucks.
I'd be like, hey, we're going to meet at the Goodwill Redemption Center.
Yeah, well, you tell the...
On Sahara.
Meet me by the garbage dump. I got to get rid of some things.
Tell the former, what was he? Was he the CEO or the number 2 guy of Starbucks who is now the CEO of Express Spa, turn Express check, why I'm negative a lot. He needs to get his ass moving if he's got so much brilliance. But
anyway.
So that's how I ended up selling Kevin a house because his head was previously up his ass.
Well, I wasn't sure I was staying.
Yeah, he wasn't sure he was staying. Wasn't sure that he was not gonna like
have
move
custody
somewhere.
of my kids. There was a whole bunch.
He had a bunch of conversations with me about staying and.
No, this is before we reconnected. As far as like consistently, like this was, this was. Oh, by the way, that's people trying to enter the studio. My security is not working well. We're gonna have to talk to them.
The red light's not on.
Yeah, well,
somebody broke the red light.
We're getting close to
restarting.
Well, because I blew it. Oh,
our extension.
There he is. Look, high five, dude.
High five. Great success.
High five. Yeah.
Hey, it's life education for him. I mean, at some point in time, the beatdown that comes from dad is going to help him like do better at life.
Yeah.
It's out of love, you know? You take things out on the people that you care the most about too.
That's what they need to know. I was just telling my dad earlier, I was like, man, my poor son thinks I'm on him all the time, but this is the driving force to it right now. And we were talking about family. I'm like, you're going to be driving and you have to know how to make responsible decisions.
You're just going to live life. You're going to live life and you need to not be a douchebag.
Yeah.
That's like the number one fear I have with Kingston. Being 10, not really that big of a kid. Thanks, Barry.
Are you? We'll wait for Barry to get done texting.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm sure I'll lose followers. They're like, what kind of crap show are you out?
I will meet you at the hotel. Did you pay for the last hour?
My last guest did that. He stopped and said, hey, I got to start texting. I was like, all right, we're going to have to No cell phone policy. Okay.
Well, it's life.
Anyways.
I mean,
I was waiting for Jesse to start the frickin'
He'd already started it a minute ago.
Yeah, all right.
Life happens.
Life does happen.
We move on. Stopped him dead in his tracks.
Everything's going to be good.
I was really getting ready to go back
Pixie
we can go into
dust.
this. That perspective absolutely always applies when you are not the owner of the brand. So when I did the last so Barry, I've known him forever, right? And he's one of the people that motivates me. And during my last podcast, it came to mind that, we don't script a lot of stuff out. Like we don't, right? You can probably tell.
He's like, yeah, I can tell.
Well, no, it's okay. I think that's why I think where we wanted to go with that.
I wouldn't pay attention if you did. If it was like too like polished and scripted.
I wanted a couch, shirts off. Come on in, laying there. Yeah, just
Pornhub already had the rights to that.
To keep them covered up.
Well, have you seen Twitch before? Have you watched Twitch?
I don't know.
Okay, so Twitch is like online gaming, and you watch these people game, right? I think they've completely screwed the pooch on this. What you need to do is have like 4 dudes or 4 chicks in a room together, or a mix, whatever, and throw them there and videotape them talking trash to each other, not only like on the mics through the game, but like just together in a room talking trash and playing the game. Like I would watch dudes play NBA 4K or whatever is the current number K, right? And I'd watch them like slam remotes on the ground and mess with each other, be like, play Madden. That was the best part about being deployed is Madden tournaments.
Oh yeah.
All these screens are set up, and people are there and they're just macking on each other with just bad jokes and inside jokes. And you're like, that wasn't funny, but it's funny, those guys.
Yeah, they're laughing. They're dying.
Yeah. Well, we did so when we met, we were in PSAP 99, where you transitioned from Tent City to Coalition Compound.
People
That's what
still
it's
go
called
there?
then. They do. They just rebuilt it. And we all lived in K210. That's legacy for us. But there's a picture of us somewhere on Facebook where we were cleaning out our tent. We literally had like a
2x4s and
like mosh pit, right?
Yeah.
We were like slamming into each other and breaking shit. Because, the tear down is always faster because nobody does it the right way.
Nobody cares.
They just cut
you
stuff.
You just want to be out.
Yeah.
And that's where we were at. But he has always been a motivator to me by many things. And I think one of the best qualities out of the Air Force are the lifelong friendships, right?
Absolutely.
So who would you say maybe motivated you that you still are in contact with today? And why do you think that was important?
From the Air Force specifically, or like just in life?
Whatever audience you would want to cater to. So for me, I use that as an Air Force thing on the network.
Right.
But for you, it could be
your dad. Use your dad.
Or my dad too. Yeah.
I mean, all of the guys that I would say like I hung out with,
right?
I pretty much have them on Facebook, and just from conversations that we have on Facebook, my wife thinks that we're completely nuts, 110%. But there's guys out there that look like total douchebags to the world, and I'm like, that guy's a great guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
Really?
Like one of my buddies, he's a welding teacher. She's like, why are you friends with this guy?
Because he's awesome.
I don't know. We were just always friends. Like I remember his dog jumped out of his truck and broke her leg. We had to get it amputated. Like there's all this stuff, right? Like that happened, life stuff. And I have a friend who's here now that I introduced you to, my buddy Ivan. He's not on Facebook. He's not on like any social media, but his wife is. So
I know
through
Ivan.
her, through her, you see, like
what he's got going on
with their life. But you like those things where you can pick up the phone and call somebody, and it's like you never stopped hanging out. You never stopped being that guy on the couch playing sports.
We were never stationed together ever, ever. We met on a 90-day, which ended up being a little bit longer than 90-day
like
deployment.
120.
Right, 120 days. Never stationed with one another. Just kept in contact every couple of years, type of thing.
Because that's before email and all that stuff existed.
Yeah, no, when we would deploy, like email wasn't a thing I had. It was something that the leadership team had on a regular basis, but it was interweb to wherever you were locally at. Right. Outside of there, you had to like fight for access to the satellite feed so you could send an email home.
Well, this was back in the Hanscom operator. Yeah, I'm looking for the dining facility number. Then they transfer you to that. Is there a Sergeant Brown there? That asshole left.
Yeah, he's gone. He's in Alaska. We sent him to Alaska. So
I mean, that's how
it worked, man. Right? And then I think it wasn't until like MySpace and all that other social media stuff.
Yeah, more Facebook than anything. Because MySpace, I don't know. MySpace seemed to like really drive you to an audience of like cheating, and it was really weird. Like, with the background music.
No. That's human beings. Oh. Like people take the thing and they make it for like the worst of the capabilities that it could possibly have every single time.
It seemed like there was a whole level of taking it to just, I mean, I remember like on MySpace, someone teaching me how to write some kind of code into the programming that would create like little raindrops or some crap like that. And then I think Facebook was pretty awesome. And now for people who say they use Facebook, they're considered old. I won't do TikTok. I don't do Snapchat. I don't do none of those.
So this is crazy because TikTok is like this thing with the younger kids, right? And then what happens is they want to do all these challenges. So you're like, what is this challenge you're doing today? So it's like they need something to inspire them to like do a thing in their day that then they can show off to other people. So they have a conversation going on.
How about you clean your room?
Yeah.
Clean your room. Well,
go check the mail. Take out the garbage.
How about you have a conversation and you live your life?
Like, exactly. How about you go and speak to somebody?
Well, that's like when Ryan, our second oldest, he's in school. They were in a group study session, and he was saying, what do you miss the most about when our childhood was? And I was like, well, there was one phone on the wall. If you wanted privacy, you had to go to Radio Shack to get 6-foot cord. I said there was more family time. Mm-hmm. People came together more. I was like, there are honestly days, and I think I'm a pretty good dad. I don't think social media paints this fallacy of me being a good dad, but there's some days I'm like, have I even seen Kata? You know what I mean? Like they get locked in their room. Mm-hmm. They're on the social media, and
and plus they're going to school.
Well, yeah. So recently,
everything.
School. When I say school, online. They're going to school online.
Yeah.
So they're stuck in their
right
room.
Now. That's like a right now thing, and I hope it amplifies the problems that we have with communication to everybody. Like, look, you can isolate yourself and then make a whole world that you want online. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, like all that stuff can be whatever you want it to be. And then in real life, you are who you are.
Exactly.
There's people that I meet in real estate and they're like walking past me. They're like, I think I know that guy, and have no idea it's me. And they're like, oh, they talk to me all the time via like comments and stuff on Facebook because they want to be in the know or in like a popular crowd for something. And then I go, but I walked up to you and said hi, and you didn't even know who I was. So we're not actually friends.
Right.
So that's where I stopped being like, oh, Facebook is about me and my friends and being friends with everybody and talking to everybody. No. Facebook, it's about being plugged into a business community that I create, to an audience I talk to.
Right.
And when I made that change, it was because I have a coach that told me to. I just didn't have that mentality at first. So now I kind of I look at it that way, and I make it a spectrum of like keeping in touch, but also still keeping the message about, hey, this is what I want the world to talk about. And he coached me into that when I was really, really reluctant. So I unfriended all these realtors and got their nasty grams in response. Like, why? How would you do this to me? And how come they were doing it? Like, why? You're not someone who's going to buy a house for me. Like, what's the benefit of me interacting with you on Facebook?
Right. Well, and so we're not going to bring up any names, right? Because we were just discussing that. But what I found is like when I started doing this, so my profile is normally private. Mm-hmm. Like, and then when you start pushing, podcasts and stuff like that,
got to go public.
You have to go public.
And you're not allowed to have two as you.
Yeah. And oh, Lord have mercy. Like, so I'm getting these floods. And so I realized the cancer started from one person who accepted a friendship that's probably not a legitimate friendship. Because I was like, how do you gauge this? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And most people are like, well, I would look at how many mutual friends you may have.
Right.
And
that's what I do.
Well, so
now I'm like strict.
No,
like, I don't know you.
Yeah. But no,
I don't know you.
That don't work either. So what I've had to start doing is, and this goes back to what I was talking about earlier without being negative, but I don't think it's negative. I think it's honestly true, right? Is that, I'll invite you to my page for this brand, and then I go and reconcile. and see who accepted it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, like, I'm getting to a point where I'm about to sanitize my page and just unfriend. Yeah. Not because I dislike them. It's because you're bringing no value to me at all. Mm-hmm. And I know I go through, you can go look at, I make sure I like my friends' pages. I acknowledge them. You know what I mean? And there's some that I've known forever that it's okay. I don't dislike you, but there's no value.
But
there's
people
no value
take it personally that way. They're like, oh, why would you unfriend me?
Yeah.
It's like, so what have you actually done to make your friendship or whatever of value? Like,
the people that tag
you don't share any of the stuff.
The people that tag you and stuff to promote it, like, they just want to tag you because you have a higher number of friends than what someone else has, so that it gets shared to your page or is on whatever, so that they get a better reach with their post. That's just using you. That's strictly using you. Like, there's no value to you unless you're in their thing or you think that it has value. Then you've actually shared it. Yeah. Then you're like, oh, I see this friend of mine. She's a doctor, and I want you to know what she has to say because she has relevant concepts and ideas for the current situation that could help you in your life. I see this friend. He's a tax attorney, and he's somebody you should know of because you pay taxes too. There's ways you could pay your taxes better. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that's helpful. But like this fundraiser for such and such, and I tag 99 people because it's the most I can tag on Facebook, and this fundraiser is really something I care about. And then a week later, they have another one. And then they have another one. And then it's like, but you're just trying to be popular. This is about you promoting how great and good you are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've seen that blows my mind. And I don't know. At one time, I said, sometimes I think people think folks from the military enlisted side are idiots.
No, they do. Like, I had a neighbor who was an officer, and he treated me like I was, you're the enlisted guy. Like, I was the slave, walking, like, what are you doing here? And then as he got to know me, he's like, oh, shit, he's smarter than me. Yeah. Well, and then it became fear. Mm-hmm. Then it was like...
Well, and I hate the idea. Who told me this? And someone told me, they were like, and sometimes you get accepted into associations as the token. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As,
That's happened to me a lot in life because people don't like redheads. And then the longer I've lived, the less red hair I have, the more acceptable it is to like not burn me at the stake and keep me around. Right. So I'm the token redhead.
Well, I think there's some truth to it though. Like, we talk about, I went from free to fee in record time. And then it's like, but you never hear from certain people without the caveat of needing something or some kind of endorsement. And that don't bother me if you're upfront with it. You know what I mean? And going back to the unfriending or I don't want to say unfriending, the disassociation, because the friending is a fallacy. You're not friends with those people. No, so when I became public, I was getting all these requests, and I was learning, I was like, oh, you just want me to buy something of yours or sell your service, which I'm okay with on this platform. But I share my life and my kids and stuff on Facebook. And so I just think I've gotten to a point of less is more.
Well, when you're saying free to fee, like, I understand what you're saying right away. It's value. Like, that conversation is a value conversation. Right. The people that want you to pay for whatever it is to help them pay for their thing, right? Your value to them is you help them pay their bill. Right. It's not that they actually see value in you and want you to do well, which is a totally different thing, which, like... So our time together is the most expensive thing I could ever give you, bar none. Right. And that's why I make my time a thing that people get only as a commodity. Like, it's the thing that you're going to get from me.
But you can't get anything back from, really.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah. Like, all of this time, it's over. The only thing you have is now. Yeah. So I'm giving you the now when I should be giving it to something else. No, this is where I'm giving it to. This is what's taking precedence. Right. And that's the value.
And I think I learned something hard from my new boss, right? And I talked about it in the last one, and he goes, what do you normally say when you do something for someone, right? And I'll be like, usually it's like, no problem. You know what I mean? No big deal. And he was like, but is that true? And I was like, no. I was like, because when I do a lot for folks, let's say just at the beginning of this year, my wife was pregnant. I have a young one. I got 6 kids, right?
Your dad was in the hospital.
My dad was in the hospital. I said, I was giving you my time and taking it away from those who really deserve it. And, oh, by the way, I spent 28 plus years taking away their time. And he goes,
we had this conversation.
We did.
And it was,
we always
you didn't
have
like
this,
it.
We always have this
I didn't like it,
conversation.
but
You didn't like it.
But he said how you respond. The response is, I know you do the same for me. And you can see their nonverbals right off the bat that
When
they probably wouldn't do it for you. And I'm learning that most won't, because I told the last guy, Mark, who was here, I said, but you know what? They always remember Kevin James when there's something heavy to lift, or they need some kind of, shoe in on the base or some assist. But if I ask them, like, hey, have you listened to my last podcast? Oh, yeah.
Did you share the link with me?
Tell me a little more about it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so
why do I have to tell you more about it?
I'm like, I've already shared it.
Either you did or you didn't.
Yes.
And if I had to tell you more about it, you clearly didn't.
And if the content is bad, and this is not me whining, this is just the truth. So if it hurts you, sorry. It's probably you need to go look in the mirror.
Yeah, F off.
But no. The truth is, I don't want that. I don't burn bridges.
F off.
Well,
that's me, Coach B.
He said that. Kingdom of KJ does not necessarily endorse that, but what I'm saying is I'm not trying to burn bridges with you. Just be honest and transparent up front.
Have a conversation.
And if you don't like it.
And don't be afraid of what may come from that conversation.
Well, no, give me feedback.
Right.
I don't like people with tattoos.
I hate them.
I don't know why we're here. How'd this
happen?
Well,
yeah. Well, you're supposed to unfriend me.
Oh, I gotcha.
And let's not get into this crap, Costco.
Arrowhead water?
So I have a theory on this, right? So we went to Costco to buy water, and there's no Kirkland brand. Zero. But they're pushing this. So my theory was they bought so much of this and nobody was buying it that some brilliant guy at Costco was like, skip an order and force this to sell. And so Costco.
What's price variance?
No one likes this shit.
The price variation. Like the price of the water that you get from Costco was cheaper than the price of the Arrowhead water.
Right. This shit sucks.
That's why.
Do you drink this?
Not
it tastes like crap. Arrowhead sucks.
After you just handed me a bottle of Arrowhead,
that's all I got.
I know.
This is all we offer in Kicking with KJ Studios.
Is shitty water.
You have to be.
All right. Let's go down that route because I love this. This conversation starts with my wife doesn't drink Pepsi, no Pepsi products at all. The water that she likes, Aquafina.
That's a Pepsi product, isn't it?
Is a Pepsi product. It's shit you not. I walked in one day and I was like, had never said anything to her. And I was just like, hey, have you read this Aquafina label? Because I was watching this.
Bottled by PepsiCo?
The Zac Efron thing, right? About how the water, he went all over the place doing all these different episodes. The water one is the one I was like, oh, this is fascinating because you don't think about it, but you could really deep dive into what's in your water. And they talk about how Aquafina is trash water. And how we're putting it in our bodies, it's actually poisoning you or whatever. And I was like, oh, come on.
Come on, Zach.
Then I read the label and I was like, fucking Pepsi? She heard me in the other room and she comes in, she's like, how is there Pepsi in our house? And I was like,
right here.
There isn't Pepsi in our house. There's Aquafina and you love it. But it's a Pepsi product.
It's a Pepsi product.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that it's Pepsi. As long as I didn't tell her, she's okay to keep drinking it.
Okay,
but she doesn't want to go buy Dasani because she doesn't like Dasani. But that's the Coke water.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's just like a funny thing. We do this all the time. But when someone else pushes a truth on you, you're like,
ignorance is bliss. Why'd you tell me that?
All right, I don't want to hear this, but now that I have to hear this, tell me everything, right? Then you just
What's
go
the conspiracy theories behind it, and how are they pushing it on people?
I don't want to hear that I have to work out, but I have to work out. Like I've gained 30 pounds from not working out over the last 4 years. I need someone like Barry in my life to be like, get your ass in the gym. I need that in my life.
I work out twice a day, 5 days a week,
3 times,
sometimes 3 times. And I'm still fat. So
yeah, because you know what?
That's nutrition.
Just imagine if you didn't.
No, even when I eat.
No, just imagine if you didn't.
Yeah,
you'd be 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, I'm close to 3.
That's why I skip breakfast. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm not going to take a walk.
Here I am with a potentially tore rotator cuff.
Let's hope not.
Right. Let's hope not. Or an impingement or something's going on my right shoulder.
I'm going to take care of it.
And yeah. Coach B is gonna have to run me through some stuff. I was doing the band.
I've been trying for years to get you to run through this stuff.
I did 4 reps of the band, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I bought
he's got like the yellow bands, so band 1. Oh, that thing's awesome.
Okay, so I need to like send the whole family in to see you, and then we'll just do just a blade workout because I have the big full blade, and then I have the little ones.
Okay.
And my wife's like, "What do you do with these? These are stupid trash things."
But you feel
well,
and then she did it, and she's like, "That thing I did the other day with the blade, like I can feel it today."
Well, he's coaching UNLV hockey.
Yeah.
Well, I was just with Nick last night. They were filming some promo stuff. We were talking about doing some things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we were at CNA. Hockey.
See, here we go. Didn't even know that you
life.
Didn't even know that you knew him.
I just met him.
He knows everybody, dude.
So, okay, we'll talk after. We got
Isn't it suck?
Horrible.
Right?
It's water.
Worst water ever.
Worst water ever.
It's not as bad as when we were in the middle of Kyrgyzstan and they delivered French fizzy water.
That's what I posted yesterday about the FDA says it's not good to drink water that's been sitting out in the sun too long. And
pallets.
The meme and
pallets of water.
The meme of this, whatever the kid was like. That's all we did. Remember the time? Yeah. Remember the time we were at the gym? The story just popped up in my head. We were at PSAB. And I was working the front desk. And remember, we used to have to bring the water in from outside in the 5-gallon drums.
Water hydration specialist for EPRs.
There you go.
So this guy
carried the water.
So this guy comes in, right? And you had to fill up your water jug. You brought your water, you filled it up, but the water was hot. Mm-hmm. Sorry,
it just came from outside.
So he comes up, he goes, "This water's hot." I'm like, yeah, and.
Oh, he must have been Army or Marine.
No, he was not. He was an Air Force guy.
Air Force don't complain about that stuff.
It was hot.
You know the washing machine.
So I'm like,
did he tell you the washing machine didn't work right after that?
Anyway, no. So he was like, "This water's warm." I'm like, "So you're exercising anyway. You shouldn't really be drinking cold water because it's going to throw your body into shock, and also it helps you not burn so many calories, so you're stronger during your lifts." What about my morale?
They actually say warmer water is better when you work
What
out.
about my morale? Yeah. I'm like, dude, how is piss warm water at a $5 million facility in the middle of the desert really going to affect your morale?
We had all the new. Like, we were the first ones.
I'm like, dude, you're responsible for your own morale. I provide you with movies and TVs and a $3 billion gym that's open 24 hours a day.
Was an axle, right? We got an axle out of an old truck that Iraqis left. And then hubcaps. So you just stack the hubs.
Yeah. How many hubs we want? Yeah, throw on 3.
No clue how much weight that was. No clue.
Coming from recently retired FSS chief, I would have had to have a little word with you about customer complaints. That would have been the new, I'm sure, the command chief director would be like,
how is this
why was the water not cold?
Yeah.
So this is the life we live in. Those are the complaints that people have. And these are the things that we have to deal with, right? But if you want them to do something so the right thing for them, like save your money and buy a house, they bitch me out about how, you talk about houses too much. It's everything, dude. It is everything in your life. It's not just you buying a house. This is how you live and why you're in the shit situations you're in. This is the one thing I can touch you on that's tangible, that you can feel, that changes your life and can turn things around for you. So you want me to be a better human being? Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
So let me tell you how that plays out for me most days. The wife says, "Babe, we want to go buy a cabin in Utah." And I'm like, I like that idea. Let me text Andrew. Right? So I text
This
Andrew.
is why she's skeptical every time that she hears my name.
So I
or sees
Andrew.
me, she's like, "I like seeing you, but I don't like hearing from you."
See, I text him, but he's like, in so many words, this is not verbatim, absolutely fucking worst idea ever. Right? So many ways. I go back upstairs.
Babe.
He said no. He said no. I said, let's just go back to the business
I'm ruining marriages
or the house
across America.
No, she actually is. I said honestly, he said, unless you have what's the word? Disposable income.
Right.
If we just
came across some money.
So what he's saying is Kevin, he's like, your primary goal was financial freedom and security. That's what you said you wanted. And I'm old, right? I'm not young.
The term that you are not using that is imperative to use is called "fuck you" money. Yes. That's what you want to have, and it doesn't have to be millions of dollars.
So it's like the money that I put into my what is that thing that you got me on? The stock thing.
Robinhood. No, he's gonna say no too.
So anyway, but that was but that was money that I had laying around. I was like, all right, let me throw this in there.
Yeah. So that's not bad, right? But over your career, you did how many years were you in the
20.
Air Force? So 20 years, you had $360,000 to $400,000 you've pissed away.
Mm-hmm. I bought one house.
Yeah.
In England and made that from pounds into dollars.
How much money did you make on that?
Oh, about 75,000. Okay. And I blew it.
So you could, you could be making that every year right now off of all of the rental properties that you have across the country.
Exactly.
That were at every base that you were at that
Instead
are now
of living in base housing
by somebody else.
But it's never too late though.
It's not
for 1,000
it's
or
never
5,000. Am I allowed to say this stuff?
What?
what I'm invested in with you with.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, so 1,000 buying or 5,000.
The only reason we stopped pushing syndication real hard is because COVID happened and the fucking government walked in and said, if you don't want to pay your rent, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here holding hundreds of houses, and all of a sudden it could be $0.
Yeah, but I got my check.
Yeah, well,
with a note that said, "Hey, this is what's going on," and I'm like,
and this year has been an utter disaster for us as far as like returns on rentals, and we're still, even though it's been an utter disaster, we're still probably 1% better performance than if you bought a rental house in Vegas right now and tried to rent it out.
But so this is what I always focused on, and so Lynn already said I get to play investing more with it once she reaches a certain rainy day fund. But
which is the smartest thing you can do is have a rainy day fund set aside.
Right. But it was like, I think you told me it was like on average, if I was to get like, was it 225,000 or 250,000 in there, the interest on average was almost more than what some people are making a year.
Yeah. So ideally I want to have people that are all invested repetitively across the board by the time they're ready to retire to a level that makes their income. And here the median income is like $57,000 a year.
Right.
So to make 57 grand a year off of just rental properties, we average somewhere in the area of $450,000.
So $450,000.
Yeah, like it's probably going to be more like 600,000 when you get to it, because you're going to have taxes that you pay. So you don't want to make that 50 something thousand. You want to make like $65,000-$70,000 a year, right? Because you want to have that income level. But the median income level is before taxes. So really the amount that you're making after taxes is always less. If you plan for more, you're always going to be okay. So like if I told you had to get to 600,000, but you only made it to 450, you'd still be livable. You'd have you'd have full income coming in plus then your Social Security, right? The average person, not us. Like you have retirement money. Most people don't have that. That's an extra income.
Freaking saved me.
Yeah, it's not much, but it's an extra. Like
it's
another
extra
person in your life is giving you an income every month, right?
Right.
It's not a ton of money, but it's enough where you go, I'm glad I did this, right? Yep. And if you're in for 20 years with the military, you think you're going to retire. When you go in, you're like, I'm going to retire in 20 years. I'm going to be done. Put your hands on your head, kick your feet up, do the whole like sitting on the beach thing. That does not happen
unless
you invest.
Unless you invest it. Exactly.
Well, and that goes back to what I was talking about earlier, though, right? So,
but now they don't even have that 20 thing.
Nope.
So.
But when you introduced me to this at first, it was like, man, I would be looked at as unethical when I was active.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I knew I had 4 airmen who were moving out of the dorms, and I said, rent this house, which is mine, right? This is what the rent would be, but put the rest into this investment.
I got in trouble twice for having this conversation.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's unethical to tell them because it's like,
how to make money.
Oh, you're making money. I'm like, but if I was a chief and told you to move into the apartments I lived into and got the $500 referral fee, that's not unethical. And so I just think
if you're a chief and you tell everybody to go to USAA and open a bank account because USAA is for you, which now is garbage.
Right.
Like USAA is not for you in any way, shape, or form. USAA has lost their way.
Yeah,
no matter how much marketing they have, and this is why we talked about insurance right away. Because I'm like, how much are you spending on insurance? Yeah. What cars are you driving? Why?
Yeah. By the way, the shameless plug is I dumped USAA for Safeco. Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah.
My wife. I'll be calling Brenda Safeco.
Brenda.
Okay,
well, Brenda's
Brenda.
my wife.
I do all my business through.
But I think I'm Brenda's husband. She's not I think she owns me. Yeah. That's how that works, right?
She's your insurance.
So Brenda,
agent.
you have to watch all hour.
1 hour and 1 hour and 22 minutes,
don't
Brenda.
Fast
You're not
forward
mentioned
to get
until
your shout out.
1 hour and 26 minutes.
See where she's plugged.
All right.
Well, we talked about that, about the analytics and data that shows it's so funny, like how butthurt Kevin James could get, when you start looking at the videos you post and you see my retirement 59-minute video, the average watch time's 8 minutes.
I didn't watch any of it. I've been to retirements before.
Right. But you're a retiree. Whether you did or not.
I got medically discharged, but it's the same general thing at the end of the day.
Right.
You're out.
Right.
Whether you wanted to be, you're done.
But why click on it? Why have the 300-something clicks on it?
I bet you people fast forwarded to like where you actually retired, like all the thank you for my mom and my sister and my wife, like all that stuff. I've seen it so many times. I'm just like, it's great that they do it. It's great that you did it.
But at least you're honest about it.
And I didn't lie to you about it. I was like, I'm not going to watch. I clicked on it, but I'm not going to watch it. Yeah. I've seen so many retirements. I wouldn't even have my own retirement ceremony. I'd just be like, deuces, I'm out the door.
Here's my shameless plug again. Click on it, put the shit down, and go make a lasagna.
Yeah.
Because I need the 1,000,
the metrics,
I need the metrics. So if you're down for Kidding with KJ, and by the way, the data
like
shows
it.
that they've never even made it this far.
Yeah, they're like it.
Right? Play Andrew, go home and play it all the way through.
Let it run.
Let it run. All my videos.
You know
like
what?
It.
Here's your pitch.
And share it.
When you're having dinner with your kids, put all of their phones on the video and
on a
let
different
it play.
One.
All those phones, let them all play all the way through the video while you sit down and have a conversation at dinner with your family.
Wow.
You'll double your metrics.
Nice. Dave, check that out.
Wow. All right, so we're at an hour and 2 minutes. This is actually fun, right?
This was I think this was the longest one ever.
You're late.
Are we stopping?
Jesse.
Are we stopping? Or are you hitting the?
He's gonna hit the delete button.
We just switch which video you're cutting in. While he does that, you don't even cut that one. Just go around it. We're still running. Right?
Yeah. Well, this is a learning and process. This has just added a third layer of interesting complexity to it. So we will see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Because while this runs on sound,
you have to match up the voices.
The video is different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, what do you put between it, right? So when that pauses and it's not recording, we're still talking. So I have two options. I either have to cut what we talk about.
You just put a picture there.
Put the baby Yoda.
You know
put
what?
the baby Yoda.
Oh, put a picture of London.
The subscribe.
Hey, there you go. Bingo.
Yeah, or me in London doing the fart contest.
Or you with the hunk.
The stuff that you're going to do
the hunk on there,
that gets the most views is stupid stuff with your family. Like stuff you're like, we just did this for fun.
Yeah.
And that's also what you're going to look back on and be like, young Jesse was there recording while we did this with his brother.
You could put the little blurb up there about stick your ass out.
I know.
The heart attack grill.
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
Are you good, I can't believe you guys went there and ate. Yeah. It was like your one meal for the week or what?
No, just
how many calories was it?
Oh, my. Well, you know what? If we would have consumed it all in one sitting, because it was multiple days of eating that stuff, it wasn't just one day.
Did you get the shake with the stick of butter?
We ate the shake.
Dude,
so we drank.
Was it good?
Yes.
With a whole stick of butter.
We didn't
eat
eat the butter.
So they didn't put a whole stick in it.
It was like a quarter.
So I got sick as fuck. And I'm not saying it's heart attack grill.
It wasn't yet.
So this is what happened, right? So
every restaurant owner loves it when you say you got sick right after you ate at the restaurant.
So there's a joke. I was like, I said, I don't order. So the sick mind of mine was like, I was like, what if they get their meat from abducting homeless people and butchering them, right? And because
they don't.
Clearly, you've been deployed to some great places in the world because those thought processes are not normal.
I even wrote a Halloween story about Chop City 702.
The camel racetrack just right outside Kuwait City, if the camels didn't do well, they would kill them all, right? And all of a sudden, we would have barbecues afterwards. And I'm like, where did this meat come from?
Probably those camels.
Yeah.
So
Wouldn't be surprised.
I got sick as hell, right? And I'm not saying it's from there, but the next day, the next evening, I got a migraine because I was supposed to pick up Lynn from the airport. I couldn't. Then I just was ups and downs. Then I passed that kidney stone.
Dude, that thing was massive.
Kidney rock.
Massive.
Giant.
It was weird. I would
make the Rock of Gibraltar.
You could probably polish
dip
that
it,
thing.
maybe, or dip it in gold.
Yeah.
It would look like a giant nugget.
It's in here hidden. So I'm waiting for my VA.
You can't hide that thing.
I'm waiting.
I walked in there and I saw it. You can't hide that thing.
I'm going to go put it on the mountaintop of Red Rock.
It's out front. Where'd that come from? It's out front. Keeping people from running into the house.
Kids are doing exercises by pushing that up and down the street.
So I'm waiting for the VA to give me my disability rating, and I'm going to see what they give me for. I pass like 2 or 3 kidney stones a year.
And they're super painful.
But that's the biggest one I've passed. The last one was bigger.
I was like, why are you showing me this gravel from your backyard?
Yeah. So I passed it. So I was lifting.
You can go get an ultrasound and they like break that up.
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't?
No. They said
They're like, you kidding me? You can name this thing. We're not going to let you pass it.
If I know they're moving, if I know it's moving and I can pass it, I'm good. But I had one for almost 2 years that when I was with CC, they found it. They said it's too big to pass. When you go back home, you know, they're like, if you can manage the pain, which I could, because it only hurts when it's moving.
Right.
I went back to Langley and they were like, yeah, we're not going to do nothing because you have orders to McCord.
This is the craziest thing. Like, you're no longer our problem. We're going to pass you on.
Literally, no lie.
You know.
So they sent me to McCord, and when I talked to Dr. Hakimi, I said one of the things that bothered me in the military was the continuity of care sucked. So I get to McCord, which, by the way, is Joint Base. So you go to the Army.
Yeah.
And you have one little disc that you have no idea what the hell's on it. And they're like, yeah, we got to start the process over. I'm like, there's a rock in my kidney that won't pass.
I know what it is, and I'm not a doctor.
And so anyways, they went through the routine, and you know how they remove a kidney stone surgically. But that's actually not the worst part. The worst part is when they remove the stent a week later. And that's not even the worst part. It's when you're spending about 4 days trying to pee out blood clots that jam you up. Yeah. And so you're just in pain, like, you know, when you hold your pee, but you're trying to pee and it won't come out. So I'm saving the stone.
Love how this podcast has turned out.
Yeah.
This is real.
This is the interesting shit that they hopefully if they listen all the way through, they pick up on it. But I'm holding that stone to see what they give me a disability rating on and say, do you see what
10%?
See what projectiles are coming out of me?
10%.
Missiles.
Well, you know, because 10%. We all exited the Air Force. And, you know,
everything
10%.
I went with 0.0000000000000.
10%.
10%.
Okay.
But not the real 10%.
The VA 10%.
The VA 10%, which is really
I got about 30. I have 30 10% ratings on my disability thing,
which equated to 10%.
Exactly.
Yeah, 10% of 10% of 10% is still 10%.
So yeah,
that's the way the VA gets you too. Like you go back in to like check something else, and we're going to give you 10% for this, plus 10% for that, plus 10%.
But we're going to take off 20% of that.
Well, but because it's only 10% of the remaining 90%, which is then 10% of the remaining 82.5%,
right,
which is 10% of the remaining 79.75%. And you're like,
huh?
You lost me at 3/4.
Exactly. Okay, so come back.
Yeah.
You lost me when you didn't say 100%.
Yeah.
Because that's all I want to hear.
All I want to hear.
Well, because you know when you do your last examination, right? So it's funny. I walk in and the doctor literally is like, "You're obese. That's your problem." Everything was because I was obese. I
had a different experience because I was med boarded, right? So in the process of that, it was the third time they tried to med board me.
Yeah.
And then my commander at the time was like, he doesn't do anything for us here. And I was like, you just got here. Wow. You don't even know my name. He's like, well, I don't know your name, so you don't do anything.
Sucks.
Wow.
It was brutal.
No, I'm sorry.
And when I went in his office, he was like, who are you? I was like, Are you kidding me right now? So I made phone calls up above him and got his assignment changed. And he had no clue that happened. No clue.
Good for you.
Called his boss at the MAGCOM, who picks up his phone. He's like, what up, Dionne? Your boss knows my name and you don't fucking know me. And you think it's a good idea to treat me like a number? I hung every one of those guys out to dry. And they all know it. Good. And I looked at them. I was like, I don't care how many stripes you have. I don't care like what. You're wrong. The way you're treating people is wrong. This is why we've had 3 IG complaints and we've had Inspector General up our ass in this unit looking at everything because you guys all suck at being leaders. And that was when leadership transitioned. Remember we talked about like this change where all these old leaders got burned out and now there's no leadership in the military. It's kind of just like fend for yourself.
Right.
That's why 10% exists because it doesn't actually matter what you need. Like how do we make you better when you passed on to McCord and it's like, oh, we're just going to get that guy moving.
Right.
They sold a bad bill of goods to the next unit, and the next unit looked at it and was like,
Well, flicking the booger became acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were talking about that
it's systemic.
with and this is no knock. This is no knock on anyone I know at my previous space. But it's funny, right? So it's like I go to my finance brief.
All right.
I go to my finance brief.
We got my stomach.
I think we had a little thunderstorm.
It's my stomach.
So I go to my finance brief, and the lady says, "Hey, you know, if you're taking terminal and permissive in conjunction, you you do one leave web submission, right? And so I do the one submission, and COVID, the 2020 is a weird year. So I'm like a month and a half into this, and I'm like, is this thing approved or what? And then I'll add the baby, right? So London gave me 42 days of leave to take care of parents. So
that's why you were malingering for so long.
Oh man! Well, then I got to do an internship as Air Force Wounded Warrior. You get to intern outside the 100.
Oh, you're a wounded warrior.
I am an Air Force Wounded Warrior.
Wounded Warrior malingerer.
Well, let's not get into that. Well, maybe that's what I was.
It's called using the system. Like, you got to the point where you could use the capabilities of the system to benefit you, and you should.
Yeah, but
well deserved, Kevin.
To most, it's like, what a shit bag. What a shit bag. As
and 20 minutes prior, they're like, can you get me juiced in somewhere with your juice? Because I got none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you the squeeze.
Yeah.
No problem.
We can save those conversations for another one. So going back to what we're talking about, the flick and the booger part. So I called my section commander. He's like, oh, it was disapproved and rejected because you have to do 2 separate requests. I'm like, that don't make any sense. So you go into Leave Web. Once you put the rule in, there's a drop down that says, are you taking it in conjunction? Yes or no? Mm-hmm. And that's what you were advised.
It's because you didn't watch the CBT first.
Well, yeah, but so I messaged their chief, and it was like, yeah, you have to do 2 separate things, and pretty much in a conversation. After I said,
chiefed it.
No, I went chief to chief, right?
You chiefed it.
I went. No, trust me. You know what I learned is
that's just cutting out the bullshit.
The people who can get the most things done are chiefs, and the ones who can fuck it up the most are a bunch of chiefs.
It's true,
right? And so
like coin has 2 sides,
right? And so I literally just said, I was like, well, then why the hell does this have that drop down an option? You think I got a response? No. That's another one of those the Facebook friends that you never hear from or you never see or blah blah blah. That makes sense. We'll look into it.
Right.
Well, no, I got it solved by doing it polar opposite how their person briefed it, by doing 2 separate requests.
Because she didn't care.
Right. And versus, and so it's okay. You know what I mean? And so.
She's probably the airman of the quarter.
The person he was a civilian.
But what bothered the quarter? There you go.
What bothered me most
number of briefings done, not quality at all.
Is if you go and say, well, this is how your organization briefed it, it's kind of like, no, we didn't. That's almost how it feels when you don't get a response that's saying, they shouldn't have.
All right, so that's exactly where I was at when I was leaving the military. We built the Air Force's program for Supercuts is calling me from Simi Valley, California. You think it's a scam?
Yeah, you should answer it. Oh, I wish we could Bluetooth it right now.
It's like Supercuts. No, this is the Biden campaign, Trump campaign.
So
who are you voting for?
We built out this entire Air Force program on how to brief active shooter, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't exist before. And the whole thing was like, oh, you're first in the Air Force, yada, yada, yada. Well, other people in the Air Force are doing something because it's mandated, it has to be done. It's not like you're the first.
Right.
Like everyone has this mandate. We might have been the first to submit, but everyone's doing it. I looked at somebody's Civilian of the Year package, and it was like, drafted solely, made first ever Air Force, yada, 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 active shooter. And because active shooter was like the hot thing at that moment, of course he won the award. And you know who actually wrote it? A couple of senior airmen and a sergeant sitting around in a stupid office after hours talking shit, shooting Nerf guns, pretending that we were active shooters.
Well, that's what I hope hope they work on, because I can't tell you the countless hours, and this is not me bad mouthing it, this is a fact. Countless hours I get wasted wordsmithing a bullet.
Oh.
And I was like, we became better at recognizing those who can write better than actually the person who did some shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we won't go there. I've gotten into some.
Sometimes screwing around and like working with things is actually how you find the best solution.
Right.
And that's what you did. You were trying to do something for yourself. You found out it's a jacked up process, and now there's hopefully a better answer, but I guarantee it didn't change the briefing. The briefing this is the briefing. You didn't hear it right. It's your fault.
I think the next version of the EPR is going to have emoji options, which would be good. Like
all of mine would be shit.
This is my favorite one.
Shit emojis the whole time.
Do not promote with the, oh, well. That was
Commander's favorite turd. He would never shit me.
Yeah. I know they're probably glad for my bitter ass to be gone. And I wasn't bitter. I loved being a chief. I think I did a good job. But
the people are the worst and the best thing about being in the military.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the duality of life. And that's it goes like wraps it all in this nice little package, right? We met because a good person said, hey, that's another good person.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This person doesn't suck. It's not even that you're good. You just don't suck.
Yeah.
That's how you end up together.
Yeah,
and it's sad that that's the standard, but it kind of is.
Yeah. I don't know. I could pull it up, but there's another chief. I actually really, really respect him. A lot of the people I have a lot of respect for are the people that I wish I could be a little more positive and open-minded with some of the things. And we had a good dialogue. So I had said, hey, no names, I won't say it, but I said, 90% of your, maybe higher percent of your message I agree with. I said, the part I don't is you're grossly over enthusiastic bullshit. And because I don't know if you ever saw the post I made when staff sergeant results came, and I was like, Jesus, they made staff sergeant. These weren't the people selected to fly in a shuttle to go blow up the asteroid that's about to hit Earth in 90 days.
We celebrate the graduation from kindergarten of children now.
Yeah.
So everything has to be over-exaggerated. Otherwise, you didn't make a big enough deal about it.
So, but I feel like, all right, so you can tell me, and I may shift gears, probably not, but I feel like that you can be either too negative all the time, but there's a polar opposite where, look, everything is not awesome. This isn't the Lego movie.
Exactly.
I feel like you lose authenticity if every person I meet, it was like, oh my God, it was such an honor. So
good.
It was such an honor to have you here today. You know what I mean? Because then the next person comes in.
Man,
oh my God. Oh my God. It was such an honor. Like, Jesus, at some point in time,
Barry's under the table like, yep, we're making this work.
No, Barry knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Like, if it's a fucking honor to meet every fucking person,
then how honorable is it?
Then when I was the last person, you know what I mean? It's like being a food critic and everybody is fucking awesome. Well, damn, then there's no need to be a critic. Let's just put it out there as a standard. Everyone's awesome.
That's why I love food shows. Like, everything that they eat on a food show is the best thing they've ever put in their mouth.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we were just talking about that. We were just,
oh my God, this water is so good.
So horrible. Okay. So going back to Heart Attack Grill. So me and Barry, I was like, dude, I've been studying these guys who are foodies. Right. And I'm like, we have to learn to over accentuate. Right. So we should practice. No. You have a bottle of Arrowhead water. So it should be like, like, you know what I mean? Like like this fucking sucks.
What is this? Been sitting out in the weather all day?
Is this bottled in the sun? We should definitely have had this hot. This needs to be hot.
Right? But there's a guy, I follow him, and like, I'm like, and I watched him because he just did the Din Tai Fung. So I used to always fly to Seattle to get Din Tai Fung. There's only like 6 in the world.
I'm going to go to this place because
you know what I'm talking about?
You were like, oh, it's amazing. And
so
I'm
you know what I'm talking about.
I've never been there, but
oh my God. So
now that I know it's that good, we have to go.
It's the shit, right? And so he just did his review in the Aria, Din Tai Fung. And here he is with his, the spoon, the Asian spoon. And he's like, this is the cream of some young guy or whatever he ordered, right? And he's like,
that's the stuff that you always get at Pokemon.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, oh my, this is the best cream of some young guy I've ever had
in my mouth.
And so I was like, we have to work on our nonverbals. We're funny, like in a I don't know, like a retarded kind of way. Like, yeah, sarcastic. But we're not funny as far as like, if we're doing a food, we have to
over embellish
the embellishment,
the over embellishment, right? Of like,
kind of like we did last night on the ride. If we could have filmed that ride last night,
so we did Fright Ride last night.
So everybody who jumped out, I was like,
yeah,
yes. Oh, everybody, you can see him over there. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be great.
He's the friend, right? So this is a true confession. He's the friend that you bring along that makes you feel bad for the characters who are trying to scare you.
Yeah,
because I'm like, you don't really suck that bad at scaring us. You don't, because he's like,
The whole time it was like maybe 2 of them were scary, and then like a bunny rabbit comes out. I go, oh, I love bunny rabbits.
So I'm gonna ruin it for them. So remember Fright Dome, and I loved Fright Dome. Me and my so Kata is very much like.
I don't do haunted houses anymore. After I did the Madame Tussauds has like the little haunted house you go through the bed. It's like a fake haunted house. It's like 1 corridor. I punched the guy when he jumped out. My ex-wife was like, "You have PTSD." I was like, "No, I don't."
No, he does.
And that,
he does now.
That was the moment she recognized it. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's not a reaction."
So the post that I made last night before we went in was like, I'm going to go in here and see if Jason has his mask on right. If he doesn't, I'm going to punch that fucker in the face.
Oh, yeah, you did. And we were saying that. We were like, I think we just go into it now for, it's more entertaining. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the only part about it that made it ambiguous at all was Jesse was like, what if the zombie apocalypse really happened at the same time you happened to be there? I was like, well, one of us is fucked.
Yeah.
Until we know. Like, hey, they're eating.
I didn't know Barry was part of this.
They're eating Barry for real.
Dead.
Yeah.
So what they did is
I worked on the zombie plan for the Air Force.
Did you?
Oh yeah. It was so great. It was so great.
Well, we need to get JD in here to talk plans with you guys and stuff like that.
Oh, the water apocalypse plan that they have is crazy too. Like the stuff that people will do with these plans are enacted. The zombie plan comes with like this 3-week contingency because there's this thought that after 3 weeks, none of them will be able to survive. Like the metaphysics of how the body works basically breaks down in any zombie theory. That's why I don't watch The Walking Dead. I'm like, 5 years of zombies?
I wrote this.
No way.
Well, I did say that.
No way.
Right? So I was like, how? Okay, you said 3 weeks, and that's what I would say. Like, if what's the max? Like a true zombie?
Nowhere beyond the amount of ammo I have. No, no way I'm running out of ammo with zombies.
That's what I'm saying.
For the most part, like you can see them coming from a ways off. I personally feel like if you're not actually one of the zombies, you're gonna have a lot of fun before that thing's like over.
Yeah, I think
get off your phone, Barry.
Oh, dude.
I think the biggest threat during an apocalypse.
Stop so Barry can text.
No, not texting.
No, we're gonna allow it. We're gonna allow it because it's free flowing. I would say the worst thing you're gonna have to worry about during apocalypse is other humans, which is at first when you start watching this stuff, you never think about. It's the other people.
Right. The other little factions that want all this stuff.
What COVID showed that, like how bad
how much toilet paper do you need?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the peaceful protests.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, well, the amount of something that doesn't impact me, I must make an overarching statement and dedicate my entire life to it because I otherwise don't care enough that has happened in our country right now. It's like, all of that effort could have been productive.
It could have. Yep. And when I say peaceful protests, I'm not talking about the genuine peaceful protesters. I'm talking about the
riots,
the rioters,
the looting.
What do they call the rioters and the looters? You
became a better place in your life. You took all of that effort and put it into something valuable.
The agitators. That's what I'm talking about. The ones.
And now we need the federal government to come in and pay for all of that destruction that we allowed to happen.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Yeah, it's the rabbit hole right there.
Well, there it goes. I'm going to go look to see how many, about 20 unsubscribers and unfriends. You know what I mean? Because I have an opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's like everybody that I talk to about like buying houses, like day-to-day realtor stuff that I do is totally different than other people. Because when someone calls me, I'm like, you might not be for me. That's like my first thought.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not for everybody. And the conversations that we're going to get into, because I'm going to get real with people, like if I'm automatically going to ask about your banking account, your credit, like what have you done with your money? What are you doing with your money? Right. Why do you suck at life? Like all these things come out and people are like, I've never had anyone talk to me this way. Well, that's because you need to be talked to this way, child.
That's why you are where you are.
Yeah.
That's why your credit's 570.
Yeah. Like it's not, if everything's good and it's all like a package and you come
you're gonna have to work on some of this.
I'm like,
Tom.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Yeah. And those are the people that you love because it's less work for you.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes they end up being high maintenance, but being high maintenance isn't that bad because you want to get what you want to get, right? But the reason the zombie apocalypse is going to happen is because some shitbag didn't do the right thing and they slacked off somewhere and they let the juice that wasn't supposed to go in the water go into the water instead of getting treatment.
Yeah. Did you see on the zombie juice? Did you see on the selfie picture at Fright Ride there was one person not wearing their mask?
No. Super spreader? Super spreader.
I do that on purpose, right?
Well, that's what I said. This is the first Halloween we should all took our masks off.
Yeah.
We normally put a mask on to be scary, but the true paradigm of being scary this year is not wearing a mask.
So we're having a Halloween party. It's kind of like just hockey families.
No masks.
That are coming. Oh, no masks. But these kids are all together all the time, right? Yeah. So we theorized that you can't be like mad at us for having families together that are always together anyway.
Right, because it's your bubble.
Right. So those are all, like, we travel with them. We go everywhere with these people, right? If one of us gets COVID, everyone's going to get COVID. I had COVID. I didn't, like, broadcast it to the world. It was months ago, and it's over. I still don't smell well. Like, I still don't smell stuff.
Really?
That's the greatest thing ever about COVID. Hidden gem.
Exactly.
You can fart and you don't suffer.
Well, I think I had it. I should have got tested for the antibodies, but like, you remember when I got super sick in February?
No. Please share it again.
Viral pharyngitis. They couldn't. It was all of the
That's
symptoms.
not what it was, though.
No, that's no. But that's what the.
They don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what
they didn't know.
People were getting it.
They didn't know. We've discussed this many times.
I bet you had COVID. Didn't know it.
So
we've already discussed it.
We think we did. So when I walked out of the emergency room, right? This is no lie. The major, I literally, if there was a movie themed title of how she was looking at me was, "You just have a cold, bitch." like here's this big bitch chief, right? And I was like, I don't go to the ER.
You stood up and she was just like, "You're not a man."
Yeah, I was like, it was weird. It was like a truck hit me out of nowhere, and I hadn't missed work forever. And my whole family got sick. Dad got hospitalized, and the only thing I can think of is potentially we got a strain of it because it kept mutating.
Right. Well, and that's why they say the immunity is not like long lasting or whatever, because it's
going to mutate just like the flu.
But look,
remember when swine flu happened? There's the pig flu, and then there's the bird flu, and like it's the same shit.
It's just a different number.
It's a coronavirus. That's why Lysol.
It's a different number.
People are like, Lysol says on the back of the Lysol that
do not drink.
Treats coronavirus and kills all coronavirus.
So I should drink it.
Coronavirus has always existed, you douche.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's H1N1 something, and they
coronavirus
change
is not
it.
new. This strain is different, and every year there's a different strain.
And there's more people.
Yeah, the chaos.
Accessible and
all of this
it's
stuff.
Ridiculous. Anyway,
The chaos of it is insane.
Insane.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got like a thrashing when I was investing in Code Diagnostics. Like, if you made a post about coronavirus, right, just your perspective, it hit home harder to some other people.
Yeah, because it
Lord
affected
knows they just like with. Yeah.
Tell that to my friends. I have to go to the funerals this spring.
My favorite,
and we lost people in my wife's family. Like, my wife's uncle and cousin both passed, and it was hard.
People died,
but I don't feel like it was more hard than it would have been if they would have died from something else.
Right.
It still would have been super hard on the family. Like, there still would have been tears, and we just couldn't attend the funeral the same way, right? So there's not as much closure for everybody.
Well, you could have if it was peaceful funeral.
Yeah.
Large mass gatherings were okay as long as it was peaceful gatherings.
This isn't California, so, California ridiculousness. Add another layer.
I left California for a reason.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nevada.
I'm not saying it's political.
Now all these people
they
don't
just
have
didn't
closure.
they just didn't have Roberto's.
Yeah.
It's crazy the things we care about.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're at an hour and a half. This is going to be the longest one ever. So, Andrew.
It's always going to be the longest one ever.
It probably is. So, any words of wisdom, like not a business pitch, but if people wanted to find you, if you wanted, if you're looking for a house,
my number's everywhere.
The parting
if you
words
Google
are yours.
my name, you will find me. Just Google Andrew Dionne, you'll find me. But I do have a pretty special thing. We have the only rental syndication I know of where we can take a couple $1,000s and start getting you into making money on real estate that other people would definitely not cut you in on. All of the syndications I've seen, you need to have either you be an accredited investor, you have to have $250,000 to drop, right, to be involved in deals. But our investments are all currently going. We've bought these homes, we've renovated them, we put renters in them. They're functioning, they're making money. If something like COVID happens, we can't guarantee that's never going to happen. That's why our contract says there's fluctuations in value. But I mean, it's what I wanted when I first started investing, but I couldn't find it. So that was always my goal, was if I got to a point where I could afford to cut people in and give them the opportunity to get from where they are to where they want to go, I wanted to create that. And that's why we did everything that we did.
He has.
That's awesome, dude.
So I am an investor, and I've seen the returns. So don't be afraid. If you need to reach Andrew, I will make sure that in the description I have his information.
You can also find me on the Discover the Best of Las Vegas and Henderson magazine at Whole Foods. If I'm on the cover, if you can find the magazine, because it went out and I can't find them anywhere.
Well, I'm speaking of magazines.
It's that sought after.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't
Exactly.
know.
It's
Or
that sought
they've
after.
eliminated all those racks of free magazines at Whole Foods, and they're behind like where they package up the orders.
Limited
Well, I'm
edition.
currently working on 80 under 80.
There you go.
I missed is it 40 under 40?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm working on 80 under 80.
Just start your own thing.
Yeah, we can start
Listen,
on.
I'm going to start giving out awards for people. Like to Barry, I'm going to give the most colorful tattoos I've ever seen on someone that are not brand new. Because I don't know how that ink can stand as bright as it is. But
Some of it's new.
Most of this is new.
But that's why it looks
within the
that
last
good.
2 years.
Yeah,
This one is older, but some of the other stuff around
even
it's
some of this
newer.
stuff, like how is it still maintaining such good
Jason
color? You just
Murphy.
never go in the sun.
Massive tattoo. Jason Murphy. You're at 132.13 of the podcast, so you have to listen. Massive tattoo. Jason Murphy.
All the way there.
And if you
So
don't,
I appreciate that. Yes, I got some compliments this week. A lot of compliments on my tattoos.
well, if he doesn't, then we can get our
we have-
tattoo
yes,
machine and
right.
we can screw it up and say, don't go there. Because this is...
You could write your name on my ass, and then every time I meet somebody,
All right, y'all. So I appreciate everybody listening. Andrew, thank you for coming on.
thanks for having me.
And Coach B, go ahead and take us out.
Las Vegas, the world. Don't forget, watch, like, share, subscribe. We're out.
Later.